I'm not a smart man.
I don't say that as humility. I don't say it to lower expectations. I don't say it because I think people will like me more if I sound smaller. I say it because I don't trust people who are certain about things they cannot prove. I live in a world where confidence is mistaken for intelligence, where repetition is mistaken for knowledge, where certainty is mistaken for wisdom. See, I don't play that game. I'm not a smart man because the more I've learned, the more I realize how little can actually be known. People speak with absolute confidence about things no human has ever verified. Things like God, afterlife, destiny, purpose, moral hierarchies written into the universe. They say things like facts. They don't say things with humility. They don't soften it up. They know things. See, I don't hear intelligence when I hear that. I hear fear. Certainty is comforting. Doubt is expensive. Doubt costs you friends. Doubt costs you belonging. Doubt costs you simplicity. So people choose belief, then they defend it, then they moralize it, then they push it on others. Not because they're evil, because they're afraid, most likely. I'm not a smart man, but I am aware of limits, limits of perception, limits of language, limits of memory, limits of bias. Most people stop learning not because they've found truth, but because uncertainty becomes unbearable. I don't need certainty to function. I don't need answers to exist. I don't need a destination to justify breathing. Try being in control of your own breath or your digestion. Some of these things happen naturally. Whatever it is that controls these things, we're not in control of everything, so why try? So, for me, I know I'm just here, and that's enough. I'm judgmental. I know that. I don't hide that. I judge people because I watch what they do when no one is forcing them to do better. I'm about to go to the gym in a minute, and I already know what I'm about to see. People will use machines and they'll sweat and they'll leave their bodies behind and they'll walk away without wiping anything down. And I'll judge each and every one of them. Yes, I will. I will. Not because I think I'm better, not because I think I'm superior, because behavior is information. They use something, then they left their residue. They move on and say, does it matter or doesn't matter? Things like that. That tells me how they move throughout the world. Most people want credit for attention or intention. They want credit for thinking about doing things right or the right thing. They want credit for almost caring. See, I don't care about intention or attention. I care about action. I wipe down my machine. I return my cart back to the little cart spot. I slow my spending. I spend cash. I feel my choices. I don't make virtual decisions for the world. That doesn't make me virtuous. It makes me present. I'm present in the moment. See, I'm aware that I'm in America. I live in a Christian society. Doesn't mean that I'm Christian or even most people are nowadays. It's very much a secular society. That doesn't mean everyone believes in God. It doesn't mean everyone goes to church. At least, not those few special days out the year. It doesn't mean everyone reads the Bible even. It means that the operating system is Christian, though. See, there's guilt, there's sin, there's redemption, there's punishment, reward, obedience, a promised destination that makes suffering tolerable. That's the world we live in. People can reject religion and still live by its logic. They can call themselves spiritual, atheists, enlightened, or all the above. They still move through the same framework, at least in this country, at least. Hope of another world keeps people compliant in this one. That's not hate, that's observation, at least. I think Christianity is one of the largest reasons people, at least poor people, stay poor. That's a big statement, right? When people believe this life is not the real one, restraint weakens. Debt feels abstract. Indulgence feels justified. Obedience feels virtuous, right? Why sacrifice now if eternity is waiting? Why resist if suffering has meaning? Why fight the system if reward comes later? You don't need a conspiracy for all that. You just need belief. belief in a relationship, belief in any of that stuff, right? See, I'm not a smart man, but I understand incentives. And belief shapes behavior. Time matters more than belief, though, right? Time is all we have, and freedom of that time is all I know. So, not the past, not the future, the now. What else is exactly real? Most people live terrified of what already happened or what might happen. They replay the past, they rehearse the future, and they miss the only thing they might actually have, the right now. So at times I feel bad for people who live with depression and things that, believe it or not, might be controllable. Not in a soft way, not in a performative way, in a precise way. I think many of them don't live in truth, or they're afraid to face it at least. They live in fear every day, fear of lies they've told themselves, fear of choices they avoided, fear of the unknown, fear of the past, fear of their parents, dead or alive, right? Fear of the future. Fear steals the present, though. The Grinch. It's that time of the year, right? It's almost the new year, though. It's almost 2026. Hopefully, these words are memorable forever, timeless. Timeless is what I always try to sit there and actually produce here in my mind, my thoughts, and my actions. I've missed the present plenty of times myself, though. I'm not above that. But what caused my suffering isn't universal. What breaks one person doesn't break another, and what saves one person doesn't save another. That matters. That's why I know that I'm not a smart man. So I don't universalize my pain. See, I can sit there and say I've had hardships. I wasn't born with the easiest of life, and I do think that trauma does create many of our personalities that shape us to today as our adult years, and just how we become human, what it means to be human. I think about a lot, though. What it meant to be human 10 years ago, or 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, or even 100,000 years ago. I think about humanity, breathing, eating, moving, observing, dying. That hasn't changed. What changed is the story layer that we put on top of it. See, most humans are still sun worshippers and don't even know it. They worship time cycles. Next year, I said 2026. Some people are already thinking next year is going to be my year. Time cycles, sun worshippers, right? Calendars, holidays, light returning as the solstice just ended, and those 3 days of stillness came, and then the sun is risen again. The darkness leaving, and they just renamed it. Religion absorbed it. Culture normalized it. Why do people lose their minds around certain dates? They say this is the most stressful time of the year. Why is that? Why does meaning spike at arbitrary points in time? Because humans need narrative anchors. That's my thought, at least. Do we have free will, or was it all written? People love those questions, right? My answer is boring. I don't know. Truth exists. This isn't all opinion. Some things are right, some things are wrong. But with billions of humans all saying something different, I say, the honest answer is simple. We don't know. We won't know. At least not in my lifetime, I don't think. So people choose stories. I'm okay with that. But then they defend those stories like their life depends on it. Sometimes it does, I guess. Those weak. See, many decades ago, I started saying things like, instead of weekend, I started saying things like strong beginning. Things just to shape our minds. Does it all matter? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it matters at all. I think it's a disservice to the living, though, to the living humans, to live for another destination, another world, another life, another version of themselves. That's escapism at its best. Living for later means avoiding the now. I'm not a smart man, but I am here. I don't need enlightenment. I don't need salvation. I don't need legacy, even. I exist. I observe. I choose. And yeah, that's enough. People talk about freedom like it's a slogan. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is seeing what you're doing while you're doing it. Most people aren't free. They're distracted. They're anesthetized by convenience, that anesthesia, that good dope in our veins, you know? See, by entertainment, that entertainment we put in our veins, that thing we're chasing, by belief, by identity. They walk with their arms crossed, their eyes down, narrating their reality. They're not present, they're protected, and I don't want that protection. See, I still use cash, not because I'm nostalgic, not because I'm paranoid, because cash forces awareness. When I spend cash, I feel the loss. It goes away. That pile of money goes down. See, when I feel the loss, I think. When I think, I slow down. Convenience removes friction. Friction removes impulse. Impulse removes agency. People call this outdated. They call it unnecessary. They call it overthinking. They don't calculate the cost of convenience. They calculate ease. Most people aren't stupid. They're managed. They live inside systems they didn't build. Money, media, religion, government, military, things and ways to control society, right? None of these exist to discover truth, right? They exist to regulate behavior at scale. If humans were free, food would be free. If humans were free, shelter would not be conditional. If humans were free, survival would not require obedience to abstraction. Instead, scarcity is engineered. Dependency is normalized. Comfort replaces agency, right? Control doesn't look like chains anymore. That control with that phone, that control of our mind, right? It looks like subscriptions. It looks like debt. It looks like ease. It looks like belonging, right? And most people accept it willingly, not because they're evil, because it feels normal. Normal is powerful. Normal doesn't feel like control. Normal feels like reality. I'm not a smart man, but I question normal. People tell me beliefs save them, religion save them, programs this, that, and third steps and that save them. Spiritual awakening save them. I don't deny any of these things help them survive. But something can help you survive and still not be true. Is that not true? Survival doesn't need equal accuracy. Relief doesn't need equal reality. Trauma is real. Environment matters. See, I'm a product of my environment, right? I'm a product of my environment. But weakness does not become truth because it kept you alive. I don't need a system to stand upright. I don't need belief to function. I don't need a story to justify my existence. See, not everyone is wired this way, and that's fine. I'm aware we're not all the same. We're all different. We all walk different journeys, and we all have different steps that we've taken in our life. And of course, our paths are what predate and outdate our futures, right? But don't ask me to lie so you can feel better. So I don't need to be right. I don't need to lie. The future isn't human. It's optimized. Artificial intelligence is here. It will speak louder than humans ever will. Not because it's wiser, but because it's tireless, polished, reproducible. Humans are already outsourcing their inner voice. They're already giving it off to the speech writers, the artificial intelligence to say something better, edit this, edit that. Uh, See, AI doesn't replace thought, it mediates it. And people will hear themselves echoed back with authority tone and mistaken for truth. See, I don't fear AI. Some people have fear. I don't know what that is just yet. I fear humans choosing ease over awareness. That's a fear, I guess. I do have that. I'm not fighting the machine. I'm not a man against the machine. I'm not looking for a team or we, right? I'm refusing to disappear into the abyss that I speak into. I'm not trying to save humanity. Humanity doesn't need me, does it? I doubt it. I'm leaving a record that says one man was here and didn't lie about what he saw. I say, it's just me. It's just me. Not because I'm alone, but because responsibility is non-transferable. People walk with me and people care about me, I'm sure, and I care about people. But no one carries my consciousness but me, right? It's just one of me, right? Are there others? I don't know. No one is coming to save me. I do know that, unless I'm already saved, right? That's not sad. That's freeing. I walk knowing I will die, knowing none of this may matter, knowing there may be no destination. See, I'm okay with that and still choosing to live honestly. See, I'm not a smart man. And that's the most honest place I've ever stood. And understanding that I'm not a smart man, I do live and think I'll live maybe 100 years, 100 more years, as long as I possibly can. 700 years, however long my voice can travel, however long my words can resonate. See, and the longer I live, the more certain I am that intelligence is one of the most overrated traits in modern society. See, so when I say I'm not a smart man, see, there's statistics and IQ things and measurable traits, whereas though I might actually be a smart person on paper, right? But I still say it as I believe it truthfully. That not because thinking doesn't matter, but because thinking has been separated from living. See, people know things that they don't actually embody. They repeat truths they don't practice. They speak words they never touch. They speak words that don't uh, reciprocate in their behavior, right? That disconnect is where most suffering lives. That I don't trust that knowledge that doesn't change how a person moves throughout the world, right? I don't trust people who speak beautifully and live poorly. They eat and act nasty and they don't actually care about others. See, I don't actually trust those types of people. Most of what we call intelligence today is just memory plus confidence. Memory of things heard, confidence borrowed from consciousness. That's not insight, that's echo. And I don't want to echo unless I am the echo. I want to stand where I stand and say what I see. That's it. I'm judgmental because I'm paying attention. And it doesn't mean I'm correct about everything, it means I'm present enough to notice patterns. Most people don't notice patterns, they notice stories. Stories feel safer. Patterns remove excuses. They even remove existence at this point. Uh, Talked about the gym, and when I walk into the gym I see the same things every time. I see people rushing, I see people distracting themselves, they're still on those phones, right? I see people perform for the mirrors or for the camera. I see people avoiding discomfort while pretending to seek it, right? And when they leave their sweat behind for someone else to deal with, they reveal something small but important. They don't feel responsible for shared space. I'm very conscious on shared space and my awareness and surrounding of others. I'm aware that some people don't care. They don't care about their surroundings of others, right? That's not about cleanliness, it's about mindset. The same mindset shows up everywhere and through everything else, right? In traffic and relationships, in work and politics and belief. Use, leave, move on. Just skip it. Someone else will deal with it, right? I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be have that belief. I don't want to have that anesthesia. I don't want to have that dope in my veins about convenience. That anesthetized convenience of distraction by narrative, right? I don't want to outsource responsibility to a system, a belief, or a future promise of anything. I want to be here now. I want to feel my life while it's happening. I don't mind it. I'm here, right? Time is not something I want to escape. I'm not trying to outrun aging. I'm an old man. I might look younger than I am, but I don't always feel such. That's okay. I do what I can do in the moment, right? I'm not trying to deny death. I will die one day, or that's the proposal that's been given to me, and that's all that I know at the moment. I'm not trying to inhabit the moment before it's gone. Most people don't want that. They want certainty, they want guarantees, they want meaning handed to them already assembled. That's why belief systems are so powerful. They're more powerful than my voice could ever be, right? They reduce anxiety, they reduce the choice, right? They give you something. They tell you what matters, why it matters, and why you have to do, wouldn't you have to do, when you have to do it, right? They tell you that you don't have to decide. It's already been decided for you. That's acceptable behavior for some. It's not for me. And they tell you who you are so you don't have to look. You don't have to look anymore. I'm still seeking. I'm still searching. I'm still learning. A forever learner I will be, at least all that I know at the moment, right? They tell you where you're going so you don't have to stand still. You don't have to remain in silence. I don't need that. Standing still is uncomfortable, but it's honest. I think a lot about fear, not dramatic fear, not panic, the quiet kind, the kind that keeps people busy, the kind that people keep running from, right? The kind that keeps people spending and keeps people in debt, keeps people chasing themselves on that hamster wheel, right? Keeps people chasing their tails and keeps people on the plantations of life, right? It keeps people believing, right? Keeps people in that no, that certainty, that comfort zone. Comfort zone is where dreams or are where dreams go to die, right? Fear of being wrong, fear of being alone, loneliness. What is that? Fear of being insignificant in life, or that your life didn't matter, or those that came before you did not matter. Fear of having wasted time. Time is all we get. How much time do we have here? We don't know. This could be our last day, the last time I ever get to speak to anyone, right? I don't know. I might never get to actually use my voice to another human soul. I don't know. Is it something I should be careless about or reckless about in that behavior? I do not know. I am just here. I'm enjoying the present of life, and fear, I'm aware, is the engine underneath most certainty. People who are most certain are often the most afraid, it seems to me at least. They need the ground to stop moving. See, I don't. I can tolerate not knowing. I know nothing. I'm knowing nothing. I'm not a smart man. I don't enjoy it. I don't romanticize it. I just tolerate it. That tolerance is the difference. I've watched people build entire identities around survival. They say things like, I was broken, quote unquote, or I was lost, quote unquote. I was saved, and this saved me, and this, that, and third. I don't know. Those stories matter to them. They don't matter to me, right? But survival stories often become cages. They lock people into versions of themselves that no longer exist. They're still replaying that broken soul. They're still replaying that addict. They're still wanting to replay that addict. Say, well, once an addict, always an addict. Is that true? I guess for some it is. I guess for some it is. They lock themselves into versions of themselves that no longer exist, though, and they turn that pain into personality. They turn recovery into identity. And then any challenge feels like an attack on them, attack on their soul, an attack on what helped them, right? See, I don't want my suffering to define me. I don't want my healing to define me either. See, I've had trauma, I've had challenges. Haven't we all? Right? I don't want to be defined by what I do. I want to be defined by what I do now. Right? I think a lot about depression, not as an illness label, as a relationship to time, as many depressed people lived everywhere except the present, right? They live in their past, they live in regret, they live in fear, they live in imagined futures that never arrived, right? And that present feels empty because it isn't being occupied. I looked at someone online in recent days and they were taking 40 pills a day about, right? And they claimed that without them, they would not be alive. I'm like, man, that's got to be pretty sad. That is pretty sad to even see. And then they're actually posting it for others. The attention, boy, I tell you. Intention and intention, boy, I tell you. I don't know what the difference is nowadays. But I do know that the truth can hurt less than avoidance in the long run. See, I've been there, right? So facing reality is painful at first, but escaping reality is painful forever. That escapism is a thing. They give us all things to escape from. Our phones. We have so many things that we can subscribe to. Subscribe, like, subscribe. This is a pattern that we're now in, right? That doesn't mean everyone can face it the same way, that everyone's reality is the same, that everyone is tough or skin is as hard or mine is as sharp as the next. But it does mean pretending reality isn't there doesn't make it disappear. That is reality for everyone. See, I'm not a smart man, so I don't universalize all my conclusions, but I do universalize some. So what works for me won't work for everyone, but pretending there is no objective reality doesn't help anyone. So some things are true whether we like them or not. Bodies age, time passes, choices compound. Avoidance has a cost, and these are not beliefs, these are observations. Observations that I've seen throughout my journey, right? I think about humanity across time, not romantically, not nostalgically, but practically. Humans tens of thousands of years ago didn't wake up asking about purpose, did they? I haven't seen that, or I'm not aware of that, so I don't know that to be true. They woke up asking about food, shelter, safety, and movement. I think these are things that still make us human today. Yet, the cost of food, the cost of shelter, safety, and movement, these all come at a price, do they not? Their consciousness, tens of thousands of years ago, was embodied. Modern humans are disembodied, in my opinion. We live in abstractions, screens, stories, calendars, deadlines, imagined futures. 2026. Everyone will not make it. Everyone alive today will not make it to 2026. This is true. We've drifted away from immediacy, and immediacy is where life actually happens. I think many modern belief systems are sophisticated escape routes. They they give us the escape room in our mind, right? They promise meaning later so you don't have to sit with emptiness now. They promise reunion so you don't have to deal with grief fully. So you don't have to let it go. They promise justice later so you don't have to confront injustice now. They give the pass so we don't have to walk down that hall. We don't have to walk down that hall of truth, right? See, I don't want these promises. I don't want any of those promises at all. I want reality as it is. I don't want to be told everything is okay. I want to know the truth. I want to know what it is. Tell me what it is. See, there's a line from Malcolm X that stuck with me for years. He said, and I'm summarizing, that it felt like he'd already been dead for 20 years while still walking around. See, that's not physically dead. That's socially, psychologically. I feel like that often, at least for over a decade now, for sure. And once you stop seeking approval, you're already gone from most rooms. Most people are already shutting you down. They're already shutting you out. See, once you stop needing permission, you're already invisible to the system built on compliance. That's not tragic. That's freedom. I choose freedom and how to live free. Doesn't mean that I'm outside the system. I work, I pay bills, I survive. I live in a house. I live by the rules. I try not to break them. So, how free am I actually? Well, to me, I actually am very free. I'm not controlled as many, but I'm aware that I live within the system. I live within the rules. I'm not trying to be remembered. I don't want statues. I don't want followers. I don't want disciplines or disciples. I just want a trace that I was here, right? I wanted to be clear that someone stood here and didn't lie. Truth, truth, truth. That's why words matter to me. It's not for influence, it's for accuracy. I'm not here to motivate, I'm not here to inspire. I'm here to witness, to say, this is what I saw while I was alive. I saw humans trade freedom for comfort. I saw people confuse belief with truth. I saw systems rewarded for control, not honesty. I saw intelligence separated from integrity. I saw moments of clarity slip through anyway, right? In small choices, in restraint, in silence, in responsibility. See, I don't need a destination. I don't need a future self to redeem me. I need a now. I'm here now, right? I don't need a story where everything works out. It will all work out. I wish it would. I wish it was true. I am not sure this is true. I need this moment lived cleanly. I need to know that when I'm gone, I didn't spend my time pretending. I don't hate humanity. I don't think people are evil. I don't think people are afraid and distracted and tired. I think they are distracted and tired due to their circumstances, their surroundings, their environment. I think many are doing the best they can within the stories they were given and within the lives they choose to live. I think many just inherit stories, actually. I'm doing exactly what my mother did or exactly what my father did. Many are living these lives, and many are wanting these perfect Cinderella stories or storybook stories of what they want their lives to be. They're thinking of things from the past or in the future and not being present in the now. See, I just refuse to inherit stories without examining them. That's my line. That's why I'm not a smart man. I'm not here to convert anyone. I'm here to be accurate. I'm not a smart man, I keep saying, but I am awake enough to know when I'm lying to myself. And that, more than intelligence, is what matters to me. I exist. I observe. I choose. That's enough. That's where I stand. Yes, that's where I stand. As I stand alone, I would like to be thankful of your time, thankful of your mind, your energy, your heart, all of your desires. I'd like to thank you for being with me on this journey. I'd like to thank you for your 2025. If you've spent more than a few moments with me, I'd like to thank you. I hope the very best, wish the very best. Some say pray, I don't know. I like to pray the very best. Things occur for you on your journey as this year ends. May you become the very best version of you. Be the best version that you can actually become in every aspect of your journey, in every aspect of your being, in every aspect of life. Peace to you and well wishes.